time to rock out with our forefathers. American-made, battle-ready style for true patriots. Whether you're marching in the parade, grilling in the backyard, or raising a toast to liberty, do it in the gear that screams freedom. Celebrate 250 years of USA in style. Wear your American pride loud. Trendjackers.etsy.com. Grab yours before the fireworks.
Live from Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. And by Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. Check them out online at coachescollectiblesny.com. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Hi again, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm Peter Schwartz. Welcome to the program. Phone number to call is 516-465-5785. 3990. Make sure you're following Sports Bash Media on X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club podcast on YouTube and Facebook. And you can also now hear Sports Bash on Apple Music and Spotify. Later in the show, we've got what's hot at ticketbash.com. We'll have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, and we'll check out the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. And you know, from time to time here on the show, we do this thing called FOP, Friend of Peter. That's when I invite someone who I know very well, a good friend that's in the sports business or the news business or just in entertainment. And I think we've got someone today that I think that encompasses all of that stuff. I have known this guy for years. He used to work for Steiner Sports, and now he's all over the place, bringing athletes to companies, booking athletes, celebrities, and all kinds of stuff like that. He's been around some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment, and I want to welcome to the show as the FOP for today, my good friend Lawrence Davis.
Peter.
Always good to see you.
Thanks, buddy.
We have been trying to put this together for a while. I know we had one date book and something happened and we had to change it, but I am very glad that you were able to make it in today for the hour.
Tell you, bro, you got a lot of great sponsors, man. That's a good job. Like Dom at Coach's Corner does a great job.
He's
with
the best.
Celebrities.
He's the best. Well, no, you're the best. He's right up there.
That was very good. I appreciate
I
that.
caught
You're right.
that.
I am. And I'll tell you, Embassy is great. That's the old school diner, man.
Yes.
They give you all the food, everything.
Gus
is the best.
and everybody, and they had a on 9/11, the night before 9/11. I don't know if you know this, but they had a big drone show at the Embassy Diner the night before, and he's very, very big into obviously supporting the police and
his brothers
first
are in the
responders.
police.
So no, it's a great place to go. They have the greatest paninis in the world there. Everything you have there is great. But sports-wise, I mean, listen, we've known each other for years now. We were just talking off the air how we met. We were telling Tony and Tony Walker, our producer and the host of the of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show that's on right before us, but he's on every day, Monday through Friday from 11 to 12:30. We actually met, and I'll never forget this because it was actually a huge day for my career, too. I was working at ESPN Radio, and you were working for Steiner. And if people who are in the area, you remember those stores, Last Licks. It was a combination of ice cream and sports memorabilia. I mean, what kind of great combination is that? That's unbelievable. And there was Chad Pennington was hurt, and he was coming off an injury, and he's making an appearance at Last Licks in Huntington. And I went to my program director at ESPN Radio at the time, and I said, look, I'm going to go cover this event before I have to drive to Shea to go cover the Met game. If I get Chad
Tony just brought up Shea. Wow.
Because it was Shea. Yes, Shea Stadium. I miss Shea Stadium too, but for the Jets, not for the Mets. So I said, if I get Chad Pennington, will we play it on the air? Absolutely. And you guys were great. You let me set up all the equipment. Chad was fantastic. And that's how we met that day. And ever since, I see you all over the place. I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but you're like a good rash. You're all over the place.
Really? Tony, is that what he's calling me? A good rash?
It came from a good place.
Oh, really? Really? It's really, look, it's very fortunate that, one, I have all these relationships with the celebrities, and I think it's all about trust and likability.
Yes.
And besides that, you're making money with them, yes. And you put them in a position where we got to have fun. We're in a sports business. We're in a fun business in this world we're living in, and I'm not political, but everything is all messed up anyhow. Let's have fun. We're in the
crazy
sports
world.
business.
It's a crazy world that when we're supposed to have sports is supposed to be that escape from reality.
Right.
That people look
and we could still argue. This is probably the only thing left that we can argue about and still walk away as friends. I don't like you, you don't like me, that's fine. And you have your points on your teams, and I have my points on my teams, and of course players. So I think we're in a great place with sports, and everyone loves sports. You'll go, we'll go see people that we knew, we grew up with, and you're like, you're into sports? What are you doing at a game? You're like, oh, my kid's into it.
Right.
My daughter's into it. So you have no choice. Everyone's into sports.
When you think about where you are now, let's talk about Steiner. Because years ago you were involved with Steiner Sports. It was an unbelievable company, and you were very, very successful with them. What was that like being involved with Steiner back then?
Listen, Brandon's brilliant. Listen, some people don't like him, just like in this world. Some people like, some people don't. The guy was brilliant.
I love him. I love Brandon Steiner.
Right.
I think
the guy was brilliant.
He's been a very good friend of the show, too. He's come on not just this platform, but other platforms, too. And I'll tell you a quick story about him. The night that Yankee Stadium closed, the original Yankee Stadium. So I'm covering the game, and I heard all week from all kinds of security people, don't take anything.
That's right.
Don't try to take anything.
Right.
And I was like, I just wanted a little something from the last game. And I'm like, maybe I'll be able to grab some dirt or something like that. And I have a good friend of mine was a security guard at Yankee Stadium, and he said, do not touch anything. So I said, okay. So the game was over. I go to the Orioles locker room first to get the guy who got the last out at Yankee Stadium.
Who was it?
I don't remember who it was.
Well, that's an interesting question, right?
I
Who got the last
remember.
out?
We can look it up and find out, but I remember that was my first assignment for the place I was working for. Go get the guy who made the last out at the old Yankee Stadium. So we go back, and we're still waiting online to get into the Yankee clubhouse. Then they come out and they tell us, the clubhouse is closed. All the Yankees are still out on the field celebrating. We're going to let you guys go out there and do it. And as I'm walking out, a couple of riders were talking about Brandon Steiner. And they said, everybody watch out, because don't take anything, because Brandon's got to sell every little ounce of dirt. And I'm thinking to myself, the guy basically owns the rights to everything.
Right,
and
we got the rights.
And I just think everybody was always jealous of him, that he built this career out of nothing. And
I think you're right. I think, like everything in life. Listen, I'm sure people are jealous that you got this podcast and you go on every week.
I try to figure out how I do it, too.
You're on WFAN. What do you think? Every kid doesn't want to have your gig and do what these guys are doing? Yeah, so there is jealousy in the world. But, I think the difference is what we created was, listen, there's plenty of people in business. And I love it. I'm a businessman myself.
Yeah.
The difference is we went to the next level. We created a brand.
Yeah.
When you create a brand, you're at a whole nother level of business, and that's the respect that Brandon should get.
And you know what and I've said this to Brandon also, the one thing that I appreciated about Steiner Sports and what Brandon and what you did also to a certain extent was that not everybody has $1 million budget to go out and spend on it. I love sports memorabilia as much as the next person, and I'm very proud of the collection I have at home, and my kids are into it now and everything. But what I always appreciated about Brandon was that there was something for everybody's budget.
Yeah, right, price
especially
point.
when he had whether it was Last Licks or whether it was the store in Roosevelt Field or whatever he was doing on his website, whatever. He always had something for everybody's budget. And I always appreciated that because not everybody's a millionaire. Not everybody can go spend 10 grand on this or 5 grand on that. And I always appreciated that about him.
I always would tell the customers, let's take Derek. Jeter's beautiful, unbelievable moments Derek had. I mean, he gave us so much things to do, so much business.
Yeah.
The great dive into the stands. Do you really need it autographed? Autographed, beautifully framed, it's $1,000.
Yeah.
Non-autographed, beautifully framed, it's $500 or whatever it was.
Right.
What's wrong with that? It's the moment.
It's the moment.
But so, you're right. To someone who's got the extra money, you want to pay for it, go for it. But there was still something for everyone. I agree.
It's moments, but it's also experience. And that's where you are right now because you are now in a business where you bring athletes and celebrities to events and you create these moments and these experiences, whether it's a company or a charity, whatever it might be. Tell us how you got involved from going from the sports memorabilia side of things to now just being around these athletes and booking them for these various events.
Well, listen, we always did that also. Besides autographs, we were booking guys to do everything I'm doing. And what happened is after we sold, people just kept finding me because they know I'm legit. They know I'm going to get the player there. They know the prices are reasonable. Again, the people who know and the people who don't, they don't. And they know they're going to have fun. I bring the talent here and they have fun and make it fun for all the people there. I'm making sure guys go see everybody. I'm making sure they're taking photos with everyone. They're doing a video for someone. And I make sure the talent is having a great time. And I'm making sure the clients and all the people in the room are having a great time. And I think in the sports marketing world, there are a lot of businesses, like a lot of people who don't know other businesses, don't realize that it's very reasonably priced. It's all about the budget. So you don't need Derek Jeter, who's a 6-figure guy. For what? What do you need Derek for?
Right.
You can get so many other Yankees or so many other great players at a lesser reasonable price to do a watch party. Go to your house and smoke cigars. They'll do that.
Yeah.
Go to the country clubs. You could let your friends see how fancy you are.
Come talk to a Little League baseball
team.
Come
talk to a Little League baseball team.
Do a clinic, a hockey clinic or whatever.
Right.
And stuff like
Absolutely right. 100%.
And one of those players, and we're going to talk to him in a little bit, and I know you're very close with him, and and we'll bring this up with him when he calls in, but Herb Williams is one of the most popular Knick players, and he was also a coach for a while as well. He's going to join us at 1:20 on the show, and he's someone that you have worked very, very closely with and do appearances with him as well.
He's so nice, man. He's so humble. He coached for the Knicks, played for the Knicks, was drafted in Indiana. I think it was the 6th pick. And another thing people don't know, he was rolling with Magic and Isaiah. That's who he hung out with. So imagine those stories from behind, hanging with Magic and Isaiah, 2 of the greatest players of all time. It's unfortunately for Isaiah, he did some stuff these guys didn't like, so he's really on the outskirts. But if you watch Isaiah's career and his handle, Peter, who's got a handle the way Isaiah had, right? Like Kyrie Irving's got a great handle. Some other dudes maybe, but his handle was ridiculous. And then Herb coaching the Knicks as an assistant head coach for a couple of games.
Yeah.
And then with the Liberty. He was with the Liberty. He's a big women's basketball fan.
Yeah, and we're going to talk to him about what's going on with the Liberty, too, even though they're not owned by the Garden anymore, and they had a lot of success after they moved to Barclays Center and won the WNBA championship.
Like, how did somebody win the championship, they fire him the next year? I mean,
Sandy
what
Grandel.
world are we in,
She just got a
man?
new job. Did you see that?
Where's she going?
She's going to be the head coach of the expansion team in Toronto next year.
Oh, is that where she's going?
Yeah, they just
boy,
just
are
saw
they
that
lucky
today.
to get a winning coach like her. I mean, they fire her.
But that was the thing too. It's like and my younger son Jared and I, we love going to the games. We've been to a few games this year, last year, and I started. We were at a game, and some people were saying like, if they don't get it together, she might be in trouble. I'm like, they just won the championship last year,
and she had injuries,
and they had and Brianna Stewart was hurt for a part of this year.
Right.
Sabrina Ionescu was hurt this year. Jonquel Jones was hurt this year. I mean, what was she supposed to do? And I was stunned when they did.
Stunned. What's that guy's name? The GM, Jonathan. I forget his last name. He's the
GM.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch the press conference because honestly, I didn't care. But somebody had to ask him.
He doesn't return my messages on LinkedIn.
So he's not coming on the show.
I tried to get him to come on the show. I tried to invite him to come on, and the PR person never writes me back. The GM never writes me back. I have a writer who covers the team for SI. I get him on once in a while to talk about the
bro, I'll give you a cell phone number.
Let's you got a cell phone?
100%. I got everyone's cell phone number, bro. Come on, man.
He is Lawrence Davis. He is a celebrity and athlete, sports booking representative, and he you name the player, and he probably has an association with that. Let me go there. Give me your 2 favorite people you've been around that you book for people's events.
Listen, I've always loved Derek. I thought that Derek was with us for 20 years, exclusive at Steiner. He just, once he got to know you, he was as cool as you and I. The guy is great. He was guarded. I got all that. I don't blame him. But I love Derek. Loved Mess. I mean, the hockey guys were the
Are you talking about the Rangers?
guys.
I'm leaving.
So, okay. So, no. Tony, cut his mic off. Tony, his mic is done. Okay. And Mess was on Jimmy Fallon last night.
Yes, he was. No, all joking aside,
great.
even as an Islander fan, Mark Messier, to me, if he's not the greatest leader in the history of sports... He's top 2 of those. Who's better?
Well, and me being a Ranger fan, I
put him right there with Jeter.
Yeah, you put him right there with Jeter. And he did it with 2 different teams.
Yeah.
And I go back to, I'm a Ranger fan, but I remember we did a deal with Sports Illustrated, so we got them to let us do the covers and have guys sign it.
Yeah.
And I don't like this guy at all. Business-wise, yes. Hockey-wise, no. And was Smitty, Billy Smith. And the front page of the SI was, the puck stops here.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That guy won more 2-1 games, 1-0.
I have that issue.
Right. That guy was phenomenal because to me, hockey is goaltending. And then you had Bossy, who you go to the Rangers and say, what the Rangers have? 2 picks in that round, and they didn't pick Bossy? I think they went with Lucien Deblois, I could be wrong, and some other dude. Maybe it was Duguay, and they could have had Bossy.
Bossy is my favorite athlete of all time.
Greatest goal. I mean, really? Anybody like him?
Let me tell you about Bossy. So, he was my favorite Islander player, my favorite athlete of all time. It was Bossy, Thurman Munson, Mickey Schuler, Jets, and...
Mickey Schuler, I don't know where that one's coming from, but I get it.
It was my...
I got it, but I'm just saying. I'm saying, of all the Jets, Mickey is not the guy.
For whatever reason, Mickey Schuler.
Right. Okay.
And a photographer who used to shoot the Jets, I think he still might do. I'm at Hofstra one day covering Jets practice, and he knew that Mickey Schuler was my favorite player. He goes, I got a present for you. And I'm like, what is it? He takes out this bag. He goes, here, this is for you. It was a Mickey Schuler jersey.
That's very.
That's
when somebody's really thinking.
Somebody gave to him, and he's like, "What am I going to do with it?" I'm like, "You keep talking every time we say how Mickey Schuler, Mickey Schuler, Mickey Schuler."
Like I just said.
Yeah, and I wound up getting that autograph by Mickey Schuler one day, and it's framed and hanging up in the house. But I forgot where I was going. Where was I going with that whole conversation? Oh, Bossy.
Yeah.
Bossy. So when I did the play-by-play for the original New York Dragons that actually played at Nassau Coliseum, so they were owned by the Islanders. And Bossy at the time was doing some, I guess, he was a sales executive, so like the Islanders would take him on a sales visit, and he kind of like closed the deal if somebody wanted to be a sponsor. I mean, you probably have been involved with that also as well. So he came to the game that day. And I'm on the field during warm-ups, and I see Mike Bossy walking out the tunnel to watch warm-ups. And I went up to him, I'm like, Mike, I'm Peter Schwartz. I'm the radio announcer for the Dragons.
I'm in love with you.
I was basically, yes. I said, you were my favorite Islander. I would love for you, could we tape an interview for halftime? And he said, I don't know anything about arena football. I said, believe me, I'm not going to ask you anything about arena football.
About that.
And he couldn't have been nicer. I met him a few times, and he was tremendous.
I don't want to pat myself on the back, but he did not like the Islanders. He was not going to game. He had nothing to do with it. For a while,
yes.
Then I had a client who wanted him to do a suite appearance. I forgot who it was. Could have been a beer company. I don't remember. And, of course, he was going to do it because he's getting paid, and I'm bringing him to the suite appearance. And at that time, I called a good buddy of mine, Bill Kane. I call him Canela, who was with the Islanders for years. Now he's with the Mets. Yep. And I said to Canela, I said, listen, I'm bringing Bossy to the suite. If you want to roll up and, maybe you can connect again. Maybe you can get Bossy to come back into the fold. And he did come in, and I think that helped them get that way. And I remember I got Charles Wang and his main buddy, Paul Lancey.
Oh, I remember.
Paul was his sidekick.
One of my bosses with the Dragons.
Paul was a solid dude. I got them to come to the Steiner offices, and hung out. 2 Queens guys, me and Steiner. I'm from Queens, he's from Brooklyn. Shoot
what
the
part
shit.
Of Queens?
Rockaway Beach.
I'm from Forest Hills originally. Okay, yeah.
And he hung with us, and that the first deal we did was with the Islanders, not with the Yankees. That whole game used deal, but they fucked it up. I mean, of course, looking for game used pucks, we're not getting it. Then we go opening night, they got their own game used thing with DiPietro stuff. I go, that's supposed to be ours.
Yeah.
So that deal was quick, real quick. We got rid of that.
The Islanders have had problems over the years keeping their alumni happy, and John Ledecky and everybody right now, they've done a really good job. Tonelli wouldn't come
John's
back
done a great job.
For the longest time.
I'll compare it to the Jets. The Jets are doing a terrible job.
Brutal.
Terrible. Brutal. They don't know what they're doing.
I'm telling you right now, I'm glad you brought that up. Forget about the 0-7 now and anything. The Jets I grew up with, those are always going to be my guys. But the player that the Jets, they have to fix the relationship before he passes away and before it comes too late, is Matt Snell. Matt Snell, who to me should have been the MVP of Super Bowl III,
arguably,
because Joe Namath got it because he did that.
He's Joe Namath.
He was Joe Namath, but Matt Snell has zero relationship with the Jets right now. One of the stars of that Super Bowl III team, he should have been the MVP of the game, and for whatever reason, there was a fracture of that relationship. And somebody's got to get involved and fix that relationship because I think a lot of Jet fans, he gets inducted into the Jets Ring of Honor, he wasn't even there. They put him in the Ring of Honor. He didn't come. That's how bad the relationship.
That's so embarrassing.
Can you help with this?
Yeah, hook me up with Matt, and I'll tell you.
I can get Matt Snell's number.
I've been friendly with Jaime, who I like very much, the president of the Jets, and I think he gets it. He's realizing that there's such a disconnect there, and I will, because I've been talking to him about bringing Klecko. How do you not have Klecko there at 5 games a year, 6 games a year?
I have Matt Snell's number.
About time you got something. Well, really, all me and Tony care about. You got Mickey Schuler's?
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the only number you really
I do
need.
have Mickey Schuler's number.
Wow, that's pretty big.
So.
You got Matt Snell's number.
I got Klecko, too. Do you need me to hook you up with Joe Klecko?
No, I just said the problem is with
Klecko
is they don't do enough with him. I had Joe Klecko last year at the John Thiessen Children's Foundation. Love Joe. And Joe was nice enough. I said, Joe, would you also let us, have somebody have lunch with you at dinner and we'll donate the money, whoever bids on it?
Yeah.
Joe said, absolutely. And we did that like 2 months ago. We drove out to Jersey and had lunch. It's a famous place. It's a Jewish style deli in Jersey. I forget the name, but we were there. That was great. It was really great. And Joe is
Probably
I
ends
love
with
Joe.
a Berg or a Steen or something like that.
Got to, or Schwartz. Got to be a Schwartz. Definitely not starting with a Tony. That's not happening. No way.
Lawrence Davis is my FOP, friend of Peter for today. We have to take a break, but when we come back, big hookup from Lawrence Davis. We're going to talk to former Knick player and head coach Herb Williams when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund, a group of like-minded individuals trying to raise awareness to our future generations of all possibilities of success other than just college. For more information, visit www.lookwhomadeit.org. Peter Schwartz back with you here on Sports Bash. Lawrence Davis, celebrity and athlete booking consultant, is my FOP, friend of Peter, for today, and we put Lawrence to work. We said, can you get one of your guys to call into the show? And he said, give me a minute.
Tony,
let me
can't
figure
we
it
just
out.
call me a guest? What is this FOP stuff? Well, I'm a
Because you're
guest.
the friend of Pete. No, you're not a guest. You're the co-host for the day.
Oh, the co-host.
You're a co-host. That's why you're called the FOP.
Right.
You're the friend of Peter. And I
Who's
asked.
the band? Do we got a band here today?
There is
Don't they
no
always
house
have a
band. No,
band?
we got in trouble for playing music a few weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, we had to shut. Yeah, some music. He has some canned music that he's allowed to play. But yeah, we got in trouble with Facebook a few weeks ago, and so we have to be careful with what we play
All right.
music-wise, unless we can get a live music guest in here, which we've done.
We'll work
before.
on that.
Well, we have had some musical guests in here on the show, but I said, Lawrence, can you get one of your guys to call in? And he said, yeah, give me a minute. And so one of the most beloved Knicks players of all time. He was a fan favorite, became an assistant coach and a head coach for a while, and he is nice enough to join us here on the show for a few minutes. He's Herb Williams. Herb, it's Peter and your buddy Lawrence here on the show. Thanks for joining us.
I'm glad to be here. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Did it take a lot of coaxing from Lawrence to get you to call in today?
Not a whole lot. He's pretty convincing. You know, he's going to give you a spiel, and he's going to tell you a bunch of other things before he gets to the point, but he's going to get there.
He likes the yap. He likes the yap a little bit.
It's called kibitz.
Kibitz, that's right. If you're part of the tribe, you know what that means.
Right.
Herb, I mentioned it before, one of the most popular players. You were so beloved by the fans. When you think back on your career, every time you came into the game, every time you touched the ball, you would hear the crowd at the Garden yelling, Herb, Herb. That must have been a pretty cool feeling for you when you played for the Knicks.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Played for the Pacers for a little while, played for Dallas.
We don't have to talk about the Pacers. I'm only interested in the Knicks. No, I'm just joking.
And then came to the Knicks, but the fans in New York are unbelievable. If they like you, they like you. If they don't like you, they don't like you. If you come out, you play hard, you compete, and you lay it on the line every night, they're gonna let you know. So that's much appreciated by the fans and true basketball fans.
What was it? With people call the Garden the Mecca, and I think it's back to being that again because the Knicks are so good right now, and St. John's has come back to prominence. But when you think about playing at Madison Square Garden, was there any other place like it that you played as a basketball player?
No, not really. And then didn't really understand the importance of it until I actually was a Knick. And the first game I kind of remember was when we played against the Chicago Bulls, and I'm sitting on the bench and I'm listening to the crowd because it was, we went on a little run, and then you forget that the Garden is up on the 5th floor.
Right, yeah.
And you can kind of feel the floor shaking a little bit, and I'm like, what's going on? But the people in there were going crazy, and I see how much that they love the Knicks, they love basketball, and it was one of the places, and I'll be honest with you, when they asked me about places that I wouldn't want to go to, New York was one of them.
Wow.
Because when we flew into New York, you flew into LaGuardia, you took the bus, you went to the airport, you went to the game, you went back to the airport, and you went home. So you never get to see like Westchester, you never get to see parts of the Bronx or the other boroughs. You never get to see that. All you see is the concrete. And I'm from the Midwest, so I'm used to seeing trees. So once they brought me in to work out, they brought me in up at SUNY Purchase College up in Westchester. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. And then once you start playing for the Knicks, you realize that there's no other place really to play in the league except New York because of the way the fans appreciate you, how you're treated in New York, how people remember you. It was just one of the best experiences of my life. And so when they asked me my favorite team to play for, it's not even close. It was New York.
That's what I want to hear.
Gotta love that. So, Herb, gotta ask you about the greatest player. Playing against Michael Jordan, what was it about MJ that just made the greatness come out in him? And then, of course, guys like you bring your game up because Michael's on the court.
Well, just his ability to make things happen at key moments. Hell of an athlete, cover ground like you would not believe, and had a tendency to make big shots. And just his tenacity to turn the game around when things wasn't going right. Just his ability to make plays for others. That's his ability to bring players up that you played against before that was just okay. Now they're a step better because they're playing with him and they have the confidence as far as playing with him. He was always one when you were sitting on the bench. If you was up by 10 or you was up by 15, you were just saying, I hope this guy misses a couple shots. I hope he don't make a couple plays. But he had the confidence and the wherewithal with when you watch him play, it was almost like he knew what he was getting ready to do, and there was nothing you could do about it.
You played in the game when Jordan came back after his brief retirement. You were in that game when he came back and dropped 55, in that game when he came back wearing number 45? Were you?
Yeah, he was doing the speed limit. He didn't get arrested.
That was funny. That was a good line, Herb. But there were so many unbelievable moments where you could feel like the roof coming off the Garden when you guys were playing and other events there as well. But that night when Jordan came back to the Garden for the first time, what was that atmosphere like for you to play in, or really any time? And you guys had some playoff matchups with him as well. What was it like when, with the atmosphere when you went up against the Bulls and Michael Jordan?
Well, when he retired, we figured we had a chance to at least play for a championship, and we did in '94.
Yeah.
And then we had another in 99.
99.
So we always felt we had a shot at playing for a championship because we figured that was a team that was always in the way. Although we had battles with Miami, we had battles with Indiana, we felt that those two teams were kind of built like us, and that we could, we had a chance to to get through those teams. But with him, we figured once he came back, the electricity of the Garden, if you look, the stock market jumped, TV ratings jumped,
Right.
And now he's in New York, which is the media capital of the world. And people forget, he had a pair of sneakers on that was probably a size or two too short.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that story.
Yeah, and for what they say, he had when he took his sneakers off, he had blood in his socks.
Oh, jeez.
Did
I
not
didn't
know
know
that.
That's an interesting tidbit.
But if you watch the game, like guys now, they manipulate the defensive player with the basketball as far as fundamentals and footwork. And people know him for dunking, but I recognize him for how fundamentally sound he was. I think he was probably one of the most fundamentally sound players that I've ever seen, as far as one dribble, two dribble pull-ups, how manipulating you with his footwork, the things that he did to go along with his athletic ability, and that's what made him great.
That's Herb Williams, the coach.
There you go, Herb Williams, the coach, and he wound up being the coach.
The only sock I could think of, and Herb's a huge baseball fan, was Kurt Schilling's bloody sock.
Yeah.
That's the only one I could think of. Remember that one, right?
Unfortunately, I remember that one. He has a Yankee.
So
fan.
Herb, he keeps asking about the Garden rocking and stuff. How about when John did the dunk? Like, how crazy was the Garden that night when John came down on the left side and dunked over them? How crazy was the Garden that night?
The Garden exploded. There's a couple of times that the Garden exploded. That time it exploded because I think that made us go up 2-0 on the Bulls. So we figured, okay, this is our year. We got a chance. And then for him to do what he did, John was always fan favorite, one of the toughest guys I ever played with. You never had to worry about him being ready to play or being prepared to play because he was always there. He was always mentally tough. He fought Jordan tooth and nail every time they played against each other. And when he pulled that one off, we was like, usually the guy on the other team does that. but this time, my man is doing it. So we went crazy. On the bench, we went crazy. The crowd went crazy. And all these years later, they still talk about that dunk.
Right.
So it was great. They don't talk about when Patrick pushed B.J. Armstrong down. They didn't call it, but that's neither here nor there.
And let's get to him because, some people say Patrick is the greatest Nick ever. I'm
wearing a sweatshirt, Patrick Ewing sweatshirt.
Oh, are you? Let the fans see number 33.
Yeah, I can see it.
Now, I will go and say that he's number 2 because I'm always going to think Clyde is the greatest Nick ever. But, you're his good friend, Herb. You're playing with Pat. What made Pat the great player he is and was?
That he never took a practice or he never took a night off.
Wow.
No load management for Patrick Ewing.
No load management. No, every game he came, he gave his all. And people don't know when they talk about, he might get a little upset about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's when he goes in against Indiana and he misses the layup.
Yeah.
People don't understand he had pulled a calf muscle. He had pulled, I think, his left calf muscle. And it was almost twice the size that it normally is. So it was blood in there. So before every game, he had to get that blood out. In the night, in the practice before, he had injured it again. So I figured he wasn't playing. So I show up early to the game. And I see him in a uniform. I'm looking like, yo, what are you doing? He's like, I'm playing. I'm like, you playing? He was like, yeah. So when he didn't dunk that shot, I understood. He never said nothing about it. He never will to this day. He probably gonna get pissed at me, but he never will to this day that he didn't have the lift because he had that torn calf muscle. If his calf muscle wasn't torn, he would have dunked that ball.
Today's player wouldn't have played. Not even a question.
Oh, yeah. No.
They wouldn't have played that game. No way, no how.
And let me just tell you something. Patrick Ewing has nothing to apologize.
Right.
For what he meant to the Knicks in his career, and that number 33 jersey is hanging from the rafters. We're joined by former Knick player and coach Herb Williams. He joins us here on Sports Bash. A few minutes left with him. And I know, Herb, you can't see it, but I showed it to Larry. I'm wearing my Patrick Ewing sweatshirt. And the reason why I'm wearing my Knicks sweatshirt today is to celebrate their opening night win last night over Cleveland. So I have to ask you about your thoughts on this year's team with all the high expectations, and a lot of people feel, especially with the Celtics banged up without Jason Tatum, and the Pacers are banged up as well. Is this the year the Knicks get back to the NBA Finals?
I got my fingers crossed. You can't count out the Orlando Magic, which is a young team that's up and coming, and Cleveland. I mean, they had quite a few. Although we had players, Hart was out, Robinson was out. That's going to play a big role. I think those two teams are going to probably be battling for it. Milwaukee is still Milwaukee's pretty good. It's a couple other teams, but you can't count Orlando out. They're a good young team, and you can't count Cleveland out. Once they get, Garland back, Hunter back, they got a couple key players that was not in the lineup yesterday, but that's always going to be a battle. So I think the Knicks and Cleveland are probably the front runners to win the Eastern Conference. But yeah, when you look at what New York added with Shamet, Clarkston, the little kid Colette, which probably nobody heard about. There's a hell of a passer.
Oh, he had a great game last night. He had a fantastic game last night.
Even though he didn't play well in the summer league. Herb, do you like that Mike Brown is going to do the Twin Towers? Like he wants to play Carl and Mitchell Robinson to start the game. Do you like that kind of lineup? Like, say, in the old days, maybe, I could be wrong, maybe Pat and you would play together kind of thing. Do you like that?
Yeah, when you look around the league, when you look at Milwaukee, they have a kid from Indiana that's a spacer, and they have Giannis. Then you look at Cleveland, they have Mobley, and they have Allen. So, I mean, you very easily get away with it. Even when you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, when they start they play the two big kids together. They can get it. As long as you have a player that can stretch the floor. You can't have two big post-up players or players, that have problems scoring in the post. So when you got Klay Anthony Towns, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the league. So the floor is going to be open. And then you put Mitchell Robinson on one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. Plus, he brings a defensive presence. So you got to have that to protect the basket. So yeah, I think it'll work out, and I think it'll be fine.
Okay.
Aside from the load management that gets everybody all pissed off when you talk about the NBA these days, do you like the growth of the NBA and where the game is now becoming more global, and TV contracts are going through the roof now, and now NBC is back on board, so we've got the great Round Ball Rock song is back. Do you like where the NBA is now, Herb?
I love where the NBA is at now. Before it was more of a pass, cut, you ran sets. Most of the team ran sets. Now it's more open. It's more, like you said, it's more global. So now you add the other teams. And I was just talking to a friend earlier today. I was reminiscing when I went to Russia to play in some games when I was in college. and they had this 7-footer, and he was shooting jump shots. He was shooting threes, and we was expecting him to miss. He never missed. But they would do drive and kick out. We ran plays. And now if you look at the NBA, it's more pick and roll. It's more open. You shoot more threes. And people talk about the 80s that, these guys wouldn't score we score now. But the emphasis wasn't on three-point shooting. So when you look at some of the shooters that we had that played in the 80s and in the 90s, if you talk about Larry Bird, one of the best shooters ever, he probably took, 1 or 2 threes a game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just imagine if he's taking 10 or 15. It's a totally different scenario. There's a bunch of other guys in the league that can shoot the ball. But the game has become more global. So now you're adding European players, you're adding players from Africa. So you're adding players from every continent. And now you get the TVs, you get the TV contracts, you get so people now can see. Yao Ming was a big part of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When he played in the NBA, things kind of exploded because China went crazy because of how good he was and what he brought to the NBA. But yeah, so now when you say the world champs, the NBA world champions, they're the NBA world champions because it's global. Everybody's playing it.
It's crazy, Herb, that you went to Russia. It was like 40 years ago, and they were shooting threes like that. So, probably my last question, because let's talk about it, because the women's basketball has exploded. You were with the Liberty for many, many years after you were done with the Knicks. And you and I have spoken about this before, and I spoke to Peter about this earlier. The Liberty win the championship, and then they fire the coach the next year, and there were injuries on that team. I mean, so we want to talk about how the league has changed the NBA. How about the business of the sports, the women, of course, and you win a championship, and she's fired the next year?
With all the injuries.
Right, with all the injuries.
What city are y'all in?
What have you done for me lately?
What a great answer. That's right. I forgot, Herb. You're in Orlando.
Yeah, I'm in Orlando where it's a little more laid back, but you're in New York City where you look at the most sports outlets, the tension that's on the teams. And a lot of times people don't care if you're playing with a first grade or you're playing with an all-star. If you go out there on the court, they expect you to win.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not sure what happened in that situation. I thought, Brandello did a good job, but that's not for me to decide. That's for ownership to decide. Maybe they're looking in a different direction. They see something that wasn't working or they thought could be better. But, things happen. And only us on the outside can speculate, or you can talk about it, or you can say, oh, this should have happened, that should have happened, or they should have kept her, they shouldn't have got rid of her. But, we don't know the intricate workings of what's actually going on in the organization and with the team unless you're actually in that situation. But I had some of my best years ever coaching with the women. It was some of my most rewarding. I mean, I had to fly coach a lot, and we stayed in a lot of hotels like I can't say the name because I don't want to offend nobody. But they went to Ritz-Carlton or those. But I had a great time. I love
Red Roof Inn. Red Roof Inn.
No names. No names.
Oh no. Okay, no names. But I had a great time. Coaching with them. I mean, very responsive. Understood the game. Came in, worked hard every day. They, put all their emotions into the game, and they competed. They competed every game, every practice. They compete because we would bring guys in that were either former college guys or some guys.
So they were playing against guys. You were bringing in guys to play. Wow, love that.
Every game, every practice.
Wow.
Mostly every practice they were going against guys. So, I had a great time.
Yep, and look where it's come now. Look where the WNBA is now with. And by the way, Sandy Brandello has a new job. I don't know if you saw that, Herb, but she's going to be the coach of the expansion team in Toronto. So we wish her the best of luck and thank her for bringing a championship to New York. But the WNBA and obviously they've got some labor issues right now that hopefully they can get worked out. But Herb, this was awesome. Thank you so much for joining us here on the show, and thanks for all the great memories with the Knicks, and we'll hope to talk to you again somewhere down the line.
It's been nice talking to you. I really enjoyed it, and go Knicks.
There you go.
Go Knicks.
We put it together. And we win
right.
the championship this year.
That's right. And Herb, I'll see you at Maddie's. I'll see you at 388 when you're in town, bro.
Definitely the best Italian restaurant in New York.
That's right.
There you go.
All right, buddy.
Will I get an
I'll talk
invite?
to you.
Will I
Maybe,
get-
Peter. Maybe. We'll see.
Maybe. Thank you so much, Herb. Herb Williams, former Knick player.
Herb Williams,
and
come on,
coach.
man.
Have a big
Best.
round of applause.
Love him.
Herb! Fans loved him. They really
How do you
did.
not, man? The guy
They
was
he
great.
was fantastic.
Great.
Coming up next in our last segment, we're going to have What's Hot at TicketBash.com, the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, the Coach's Collectibles item of the week. I'm going to ask Lawrence Davis about a specific celebrity that he was always around and we recently lost. And I want to talk to him about that individual when we get back here on the show right after this. We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. This segment of Sports Bash brought to you by the great folks at Embassy Diner in Bethpage. Don't forget to mention Sports Bash. Get a free dessert with your meal.
And
Peter
you don't
Schwartz.
get one dessert, man. They'll throw like 3 or 4 ones on the table. You're not getting one.
Well, it depends on who you are. If you mention Sports Bash, you get 1.
Right.
If you mention my name, you'll get 2.
Great.
If you mention Tony, you'll get 3.
No, Tony will eat one.
The Tony Elite one.
Tony eat one.
I have Lawrence Davis is my FOP friend of Peter co-host for the day, and I know you're a little miffed that there's no food here, but don't blame Tony on that. I usually call the Embassy Diner when we have the FOP, and I just neglected to do that today.
Okay.
So, but we will have you back. This
Great.
was so good and so much fun. We will have you back. You mind taking a phone call? Or we have somebody that wants to talk to us.
I love the phone calls, man.
We
Who
love
got?
phone calls at 516-465-3990. Here's my good buddy Glenn from Flushing and a good fan of the program. Glenn, what's going on?
Hey, great show, guys. And I live in Queens, so I grew up in Long Island with Pete. So you got my two Queens guys today.
718, baby. 718.
And before I start, Peter, I just want to tell you, me and my mom had a wonderful lunch last week at the Embassy Diner, and we got our free desserts.
There you go. Gus took care of you, right? Gus and Peter and all those guys.
Now, Glenn, do you get one each? Like if you're there with your wife, do they give each one a dessert?
Yeah.
Yes. We each got a rice pudding, and I won't go any further that we didn't want anything else, but rice pudding was just fine.
See, I would have gone straight for the cheesecake.
Okay.
Yeah. Herb Williams, first of all, Lawrence, great show today. You're a natural.
Thanks.
And Herb Williams, that was a great interview. I was going to just ask how his longevity was. Like, how did he stay in the league all those years, 18 years?
Do you see the size of him? That's how.
Yeah, well, that helped. But, I'm sure he took it easy in the offseason with his conditioning and things. I don't know. You have any input on that,
He
Lawrence?
really wasn't injured, which is the big thing.
Right. Yeah.
And he was a great backup player, in a way. I don't know if this is a bad analogy or not. You're the backup quarterback. You got a lot more longevity.
Yeah.
You don't play as much. And Herb would go in, what would you think he would play? 8 minutes?
8
10
minutes, but you
12
know
minutes?
what? He'd come in and he'd get his 5 or 6 rebounds.
Right.
He'd be able
Couple
to
of blocks.
He'd be able to put the ball in the basket here and there.
Right.
And I loved your question to him about the Twin Towers. When him and Patrick were on the floor together, that was a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and obviously his attitude, he was a future coach, so I'm sure they loved having him around just for his smart and, his input on the team. The last thing, I hate to bring up a downer, but I don't know if you discussed it at the beginning. I missed it, but this is a huge story, with the NBA and Chauncey Billups. What do you guys think?
Glenn, he's a friend of mine, so I asked him first. Honestly, if this was really me and Pete's show and we're bringing somebody on as an NBA guy and I didn't have the relationship like I have with Herb, listen, our job is to ask that question. But Herb's my buddy, and he didn't want to go there, so that's why we didn't ask him.
No, I didn't mean that.
No, from our perspective, obviously, when you hear that, and it's not just Chauncey Billups, but there were other people that were arrested by the FBI too, and now this falls squarely on the shoulders of Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA. It's got to be a concern if you ever lose trust by your fans because of this. And this is the problem when you get into bed with the gambling companies. It's one thing for for people to gamble on sports, and it's happened for years. I get it. But now, you got everything is so mainstream. You got FanDuel, and all these places are in business with all these professional leagues. And at some point, you kind of figured something like this was bound to happen. And I got to imagine Adam Silver is probably in deep meetings today, Lawrence.
Glenn, you think about it. Every commissioner over the last 20 years, 30 years was always like, we'll never be in gambling, never be in gambling, never be in gambling. Every commissioner. And now all of a sudden, they're doing the Steve Miller Band. They're taking the money and run.
Yeah.
But, now they're running and they got some big problems. You have the FBI involved. You got the mafia involved. This is exactly what they were afraid of, that the mafia people would get involved in the gambling and be able to control it. And it just seems in basketball, it's probably, quote unquote, the easiest to make somebody do something, to have an effect on it. Look at it. You miss a free throw. I missed it. What do you want from me?
Right.
Or the ball hit my hands, goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
I didn't get that board. Right. So it's ugly, man. It is really ugly, Glenn. And Silva's got a big problem.
Unfortunately, it always comes back because my dad grew up in the 50s. He always told me about the CCNY scandal of 1951. And back in the day in baseball, in the 1900s, early 1900s, they used to bet on every pitch. So it comes around.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, you had the whole 8 men out.
Great movie.
What
Exactly. It's a great movie.
Glenn, thank you so much, buddy, for the phone call.
Guys, great show. Thanks again.
And Glenn, Tony says thank you, too. Don't think Tony's not still here.
Thank you, Glenn. Glenn, when are we going to an Islanders game?
Oh, I know tonight they're playing the Red Wings. We were thinking about it, but I will be in touch.
All right, we'll tell you. Let me know.
Hey, Glenn, and since you called in, and we got Coach's Corner, we're going to Coach's Corner to give you some autographed item for calling in. We'll figure it out. Okay.
We'll get
Dom. Yeah, because Dom's a good dude. He'll give you some autographed item.
We'll figure it out. Listen, Glenn's come away with some pretty good stuff on the show already.
Tony gets nothing. You get some. Tony's not getting nothing.
What are you,
Very
Oprah?
kind in general.
You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. What's going on here? I let you in here for an hour to giving everybody something. Oh, my. Glenn, I'll talk to you, my friend.
All right, appreciate it. Great show.
Yeah.
Later, man.
It is time for What's Hot at Ticketbash.com on the sports calendar. Tonight, the Islanders host the Red Wings. The Rangers host the Sharks. Tomorrow, the Knicks host the Celtics. That is already a big money ticket. Tomorrow night at the Garden, Nets play their home opener against the Cavaliers, and the Devils will host the Sharks. Ticket Bash is also your place to get tickets to the World Series. Tomorrow night is Game 1 in Toronto. The Blue Jays host the Dodgers. Concert-wise, Jerry Seinfeld's at the Beacon Theater tomorrow, October 24th. Sabrina Carpenter is at the Garden October 26th, 28th, and 29th. Are you ever around Sabrina Carpenter?
Haven't met her yet, but she's just adorable.
Yeah.
I love her. And her ticket is hot. I've heard that already.
Absolutely. Give me a musician that you've been around that you love working with.
Oh, listen, I love the old guys. I love Steven Tyler, Mick Jagger, those guys. I went to the the Rolling Stones concert. The guy's 80, man. He's running all over the place.
Yep.
Unbelievable. And then I saw
man.
the Who. They
Who?
were great.
Who?
We had Hojo, Howard Johnson in the Met Suite that day, and then the Who was playing at the Garden, took Hojo. Went to the Met Suite. Went to the Tao Suite in MSG.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I got to hang around you a little bit more
Right.
often. You're all over the place.
That's
My
right.
God. Billie Eilish is at UBS Arena on Saturday, October 25th and 26th. John Legend at Barclays Center November 4th. And it was just announced today. Bon Jovi is coming back on tour. They're going to be at Madison Square Garden July 7th, 9th, 12th, and 14th.
I thought he had a problem with the throat or something.
He did.
Okay?
I was on the Today Show this morning talking about it. He's all good. And
Let's
ready to
hope
go
they
on
send
tour.
Steven Tyler to that doctor, because Steven Tyler has a problem. Who wouldn't want to see Aerosmith, man?
Absolutely. Get tickets to these events and more at the lowest prices with no service fees at ticketbash.com. Before I get to the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day, one of the photos that we've shown with you and a celebrity was with you and Hulk Hogan, who just recently passed away. My favorite pro wrestler of all time, and obviously one of the most iconic figures in the history of WWF, WWE. You got to be around him a little bit, did appearances with him. What was it like working with Hulk, and how much do you miss him now?
First thing, Hulk was everything you thought and saw. The guy loved the fans, loved the people, was all over telling everyone, eat your vegetables, listen to your parents. And any appearance we did with Hulk, and most of the time in those days, in the contract would be 2-hour appearance, Hulk would not leave. I remember we had him at the Roosevelt Field store. Place was rocking. There must have been, no bullshit, 1,000 people there, because I was the kind of guy, even if you bought an autograph and you brought 2 people there, I wasn't like, oh, you can't stay on the line because you only got one autograph. I'm all about the fans.
Right.
So that's why there was so many more people
That's
there.
why you're a mensch.
Yeah, I'm a mensch, right, Tony? I'm a mensch. I don't know how you guys say it, but that's what we say. And that guy just took care of everyone online, stayed. He probably was there close to 5 hours and made sure everyone got to meet him.
Yeah.
Something like Magic always said. Magic Johnson always said to me, and not being cocky, Magic was always like, listen, I realize when someone's going to meet me, it is probably one of the biggest things of their life, and why shouldn't I make it special?
You drop more names than an arthritic mailman.
I don't even know what that means, Tony. What does that mean?
He left.
Because he's laughing, because he's producing the show. And he didn't have any food.
Oh, mailman, right?
Oh, mailman. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
okay.
great.
Now you still didn't get it. It's
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't get it.
It's
And I'm not dropping names, Tony. This is legit.
And by the way, I stole that line from my good friend Howie Carpin, who's an official scorer at Mets and Yankees game and a longtime sports reporter here in town. So did you just, what is that?
It's a laugh track.
You played a laugh track.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. It's time
We're
for
in Governor's Comedy Club. I mean, it's supposed to be laughing here.
Well, we should be in the giggle room then. It's time for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new question every Tuesday and Thursday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. What is your prediction for the World Series? And we give you 4 choices: Dodgers in 4 or 5, Dodgers in 6 or 7, or the other way around, the Blue Jays in 4 or 5, and the Blue Jays
Dodgers
in 6 or
4.
7.
What kind of question
I got.
is it?
Is
Bichette playing?
Yeah, I think so.
It's not. No. Do you know? Or do you think?
I don't.
You
I
can't say,
think so. I don't know for sure. I haven't been around my.
That's one of the signs I had in my office in Steiner. Do you know, or do you think you know?
I think I know. I think he's playing. I got Dodgers in 6.
Dodgers in 4. They're untouchable.
Tony?
Elliot Ness.
The Dodgers 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
What?
Okay.
You
There
guys
you
don't know
go.
what you're talking about.
It's time. I knew I was in trouble.
We need
today.
a gambling
It's time.
site as a sponsor so we can have them.
Well,
do something.
I don't know about that today. We'll see.
We need the money.
Yeah, I do. I do, really. I got a kid in college. I need it.
Okay.
Yes.
Me too.
It's time. It's time for the Coach's Collectibles Item of the Week. And our good friend Dom has furnished us with the Knicks season starting. We have a Jalen Brunson unsigned 20x24 frame collage. Coach's Collectibles, your number one source for 100% authentic sports memorabilia and live public autograph events. For more information, visit coachescollectiblesny.com. We have some other business to take care of before we say goodbye. This is a segment that I do every Thursday on the show. It's called Dad's Time to Brag. And my son Jared is an assistant coach for the Clemson flag football team in our community flag football league. And this past Sunday, Clemson improved to 4-0 with a 28-6 win over Navy.
Come on, Tony.
Congrats to Coach Rob, Coach Jared, the players on a great job so far this season. Another big game coming up on Sunday morning. This past Saturday, my son Bradley and the Post Eagles, they dropped to 3-3 with a loss to Assumption, but Bradley had another strong day long snapping. He had a Pro Football Focus rating of 96.7, bringing his season rating up to 90.4. This coming Saturday, the 3-3 Eagles are home to face Franklin Pierce University, 1 p.m. there in Waterbury, Connecticut. You love Marty Lyons, don't you?
It is all about the team, though. Tell Bradley. I get it that he's playing well, but it's about the team.
It is about the team, yeah, but you can't have a good team
Love
without a good
Marty
long
Lyons.
snapper.
Love Marty
Love
Lyons.
Marty. Well,
Marty
the
is
fourth
as solid
annual,
as could be.
The 4th annual Marty Lyons Foundation Evening of Thanks Gala is coming up on Thursday, November 13th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. You going to be there?
Yeah, now I'll go.
Oh, well, who invited you?
Tony.
Tony.
Tony invited me.
The foundation will be honoring wishes granted in 2025 and members of the Marty Lyons Foundation family. There will be raffle prizes and a special live wish reveal. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Before I go on to a couple of other things, so there are businesses out there and charities and events that are looking for athletes and celebrities to come and have some fun with the fans. How can people reach out to you? And I know we've talked about budgets, and there's a budget for every organization. So how can people reach out to you to try and book, whether it's an athlete or musician or whatever, at their event?
Because I love people, my cell phone. You can just call me at 516-695-0071, 516-695-0071. And if you're a Yankee fan, you're going to love who's on my voicemail. And then, of course, you can always go to Instagram, LD_celebs. Or call Peter Schwartz. And Peter
Well,
can
I'm
get
not
involved.
giving out my phone number.
You can give mine.
I almost gave out my home number here on the show.
People have home numbers, Tony?
I
Who's got a home
I
number?
still have a home number. I do, yeah.
Well,
Remember
no one's
that?
answering
I was giving
it.
the studio number, and I accidentally almost gave my home phone number out.
Did anyone call?
No, I didn't give out the whole number.
Okay.
I didn't give out the whole number. It didn't work out. We saw a picture before with you and Peyton Manning. How cool is that to work with him?
Peyton's great. I mean, his brother's great. The family's great. That particular one, we did that in Nashville. I have a big client in Nashville, so over the years, I booked Terry Bradshaw, Peyton Manning. I booked last year. I had Dr. J there. I had Larry Bird there. And just to go into that real quickly, if you're going to deal in that bigger level, not to be cocky, but if you don't have a relationship with the player, Tony, if you don't have a relationship with the player, they're not going to do it. Because I like
Tony
him
alone. He's pushing the buttons. Let him be.
He could do two things at once. He was eating lunch while he was doing it.
You can only imagine what he's done while I'm doing the show.
You need a relationship with the player, too, because the money's not moving them.
I'm definitely making sure there's food here next time. That's all I wanted to say.
I won't be here. I won't be here. I'll call in.
Coming up next week on Sports Bash, certainly will not have as many laughs.
Nothing as good as this, Tony.
Today. But Tuesday, October 28th, I'm going to be joined by Nesson, that's New England Sports Network, host and reporter Casey Hudson. We'll talk a lot of hockey with her on the show. Then next Thursday, we're going to talk a lot of baseball. Thursday, October 30th, Kelly Franco, the host of the 3 Inning Fan Podcast, will join us here on the show. And we just did this today. There's a big event coming up out here on Long Island On November 15th at Stotsky Park in Riverhead, it's the We Huddle to Help Flag football game. We're going to be joined by singer Mark McLaughlin and former NFL player Gary Brown. They are going to be part of that second annual event, and they'll be on the show on November 6th to talk about that. And it will be great to talk to Gary Brown. He played for the Packers, has a Super Bowl ring. Yeah. So we'll talk to him about that.
And then the big one, John Thiessen Children's Foundation, Thursday, December 4th. 30 years he's doing it in Mulcahy's. I've already booked Pepper Johnson, who's got too many Super Bowl wins as a player and coach. I got Todd Zeal coming. I'm working on hopefully getting Johnny Damon, Matt Martin, but I always book 3 to 5 players for him.
I know
December
Matt
4th.
Martin's father-in-law.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Who is he?
You know who it is. Come on. Before we say goodbye, I have to tell you, this was a lot of fun today. And we've been buddies for a long time, and we've been talking about trying to do this for a while, and I'm glad we were able to make it happen. And I am so happy for all of your success, and thanks for everything that you have done for me over the years. And this was awesome. Thanks
Tony,
so
maybe
much.
I get a co-hosting gig, Tone. What do you think?
If we bring
Just hang out in the parking lot.
No, we can bring another. If you bring in a sponsor, we can have you on again.
You know the old you got tons of sponsors, man. Charge them more.
No, but we're trying. We're trying to get some more. We're trying to get some more. And that will do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and the Ryan Anthony Head Start Fund. Thanks to my FOP, Lawrence Davis, and our guest, former Nick Herb Williams. Thanks to our social media coordinator, Connor Kalb. And thanks to Tony Walker, who's been all over the show today, and everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, by Coaches Collectibles, and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are back on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Have a great weekend, everybody.